Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the match build-up and opposition preview for Arsenal's trip to East London to face West Ham at the Olympic Stadium. I hope I got everything right. The last time we played West Ham was back in match day 2, and a lot has changed since then. In fact, let me introduce the guests first. Charlie from Hammerschat, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Charlie is one of my favorite YouTubers out there. Absolutely. I always join every single one of his watch-alongs. I always try even if there's an Arsenal match at the same times. So the last time I talked to him, it was match day 2, and he was a mess. We were doing the predictions for that week, and he was like, I think you were playing Wolves. I think he actually ended up winning that game 4-0 or something. You were like, no, Wolves, you're gonna lose that game. We've sold Diangana, something like that.
Yeah.
We've sold him. We've not bought any players. The owners don't care. Hala is not performing. Antonio is not good enough to play as a striker. Fast forward a few months, West Ham, everything is glorious. They've gotten Lingard. They're scoring goals every single game. Sushek is scoring every goal. Corners, every single corner West Ham gets, it's a goal. Things are looking very, very rosy. As you can see as well, their stadium is looking pretty awesome as well. So, Charlie, what have you made of your season so far since we last spoke on the show when we last played you guys?
Yeah, it's been a bit wild. I can't lie to you. We have managed to buck the trend. Before, when I first came on, we had there was a very clear delineation. If we faced a team who was counter-attacking based, we would definitely lose. And if we faced a team who were attacking, then we tended to do okay. We've somehow managed to just breeze past that, and we're doing incredibly well against everyone. We have a set of players, about 14 or 15 or so players, that work absolutely perfectly within this David Moyes system, and they are all working towards the exact same goal. You never hear of any talk of when someone gets dropped there being negativity. You don't hear anything like that. There's a couple of bits of rotation, especially along the front line, but outside of that, I mean, we have just a sturdy. We're just sturdy at the back, and it's very David Moyes. It's very David Moyes. You think about it, he builds from the defense forward, and he's done exactly that. We know exactly who's going to start in defense and where, and then past that, especially in the front line, it changes a little bit. But defensively, we're so good that it gives you a chance against any team. Now, sometimes it can be unbelievably boring and dire. The Man United match, woof, it was a rough game. But some games, it just means that some games it works perfectly, and all of a sudden we go from being unbelievably dire to watch to being straight banter and amazing. It's wild. It is wild.
That's the other point you've made, David Moyes. You guys were also crying about David Moyes. Is he good enough for West Ham? Is he not? What time is he going to make a substitution? We've already lost our first home game to Newcastle of all teams. You guys were a mess, but you've done really well. So I'm going to put your results so far this season. I'll have your form scrolling down the bottom right now. So I can see currently West Ham is placed in 5th. 48 points. You've won 14 games. You've drawn 6. You've lost 8. You've scored 42 goals. You've conceded 32, a goal difference of +10. And then in the last 5 games, you've lost 1, lost 1, won. So, questions I'm going to ask from that. What has been your best performance so far this season, personally?
Even though it was a loss.
Even though it was a loss.
Probably the Man City performance. It's weird to say that, but and I wasn't the only one who came out saying this, but there was kind of pride about it. Like everyone came out and I went, do you know what? I'm genuinely proud of that. We really gave them the best we could, and we almost took Man City. And they were on 19 wins in a row at that point. They hadn't been beaten yet. They unbeaten in 25 or something, and we really almost had them. And I think that was probably the one I was most proud of, because in previous seasons, I remember, for example, in one of Sam Allardyce's season, we had Man City in the League Cup semi-finals, and they beat us 9-0 on aggregate. Sam Allardyce plays, by and large, defensive first, counter-attacking football like David Moyes does. We really did push that Manchester City side, And compared to how we used to be against them, that was a huge achievement. Like you say, we beat Wolves 4-0. That was incredible. We beat Leicester 3-0. That was incredible. We've had some unbelievable results, but I've never seen, and it wasn't just me. That's why I'm sort of happy about it. Everyone in the fan base was like, I'm proud of that. We can be proud of that. Fair enough. We lost. The better team won, but we really did take it to them.
Yeah, so that's your best performance. What about the best result?
I mean, 4-0 versus Wolves ain't bad. 3-0 versus Leicester's not bad. Actually, probably 3-0 versus Leicester. When you look at where Leicester are and how they've been this season as well, we demolished them.
Away
really
from home
did.
as well.
Yeah, we really did. And that was a performance as well, which has a bit of when we face top teams, usually sometimes they can just put us to the sword. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. They could beat us, but they don't have to. Yet they still just demolish through us. They just keep scoring. We had that about us. Everything clicked that day. Everyone was on it. And we could, at 2-0, we could have stepped back. And usually David Moyes would go, right, we're freaking out right now. We're going to defend for our life. Anything, what happens, we're defending for our lives. And no, we just carried on. And we really did that. So probably Leicester one, given where they are now this season.
Yeah, so we have to talk about the negatives as well, Charlie. Sorry. What has been your worst performance so far this season?
Anytime we face Manchester United, I honestly, and I put this out on Twitter the other day, and I genuinely believe this. I think his head is just gone when it comes to Manchester United. I think whenever we face, I think David Moyes will never win another game against them because he can't deal with it. Since he came back to us last season, we got a draw, and then the 3 times we faced them this season, we've lost every single one and looked dire. Like he really. He's just gone. But I think it's the FA Cup one specifically because obviously, as a fan base, we love the FA Cup. We want to win the FA Cup more than like when most people have the conversation of would you prefer to get FA Cup or would you prefer to get top 4? 80% of the fan base would go FA Cup. No, not even a second's thought. They would just go FA Cup. 85%. Right? We were horrendous. He put out a side which. A friend of mine, an Arsenal fan friend of mine, Adam, said to me, "Oh, it looked like you were defending a 1-0 win from the get-go, and it was 0-0, and it was the FA Cup. You have to get in the league. If you're going to get a draw, fine, you get a draw. I don't like it, but fine, we'll take the point, I guess. In the FA Cup, you can't. Someone has to score eventually. You can't get 1 point from an FA Cup game. We really were." We just weren't anywhere near good enough. And at the end of that, again, similarly to how everyone was proud after City, I haven't seen the fan base as uniformly angry as I had after that game. It was bad. Yeah,
personally, me, I just want to thank you for taking points from Tottenham home and away. And doing this dance against Tottenham, I really enjoyed that game as well. The 3-3 in this one, I really enjoyed you taking points away from Tottenham. That's probably my best Western result so far this season, beating Tottenham at home. Although you've done really well against so many teams this season, I agree that City game. I think from that 21 wins in a row for them, I think it's only Arsenal and West Ham that I think lost by 1 goal. Let's say had a good performance in those games, but you guys definitely had the best performance in those 21 matches. So that is Charlie's best results, worst results so far this season. The next topic is going to be the next 5 fixtures for you guys. Of course, West Ham Arsenal is the last game to the international break, and then there's a 2-week break, and then the games come thick and fast again. So next 5 fixtures, you have Arsenal at home, Wolves away, Leicester at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea at home. So as you said already, you lost to Arsenal in the first game, you beat Wolves, you beat Leicester, you lost to Newcastle, and you lost to Chelsea. So from those 5 fixtures, how many points are you expecting from those 15?
It's really difficult because I think they're the most pivotal games of our season. We're talking about potentially European football. If we can get something good out of this lot of games, I believe we can get European football at the end of the season. If these games go really badly for us, that dream is over and dead and buried. So it's really difficult. I think realistically, if we want to keep that dream alive, which is what I want and what I hope for, you're looking at 8 points probably from those games. You'd hope at least. I mean,
at least
it's tough. which is mad because usually we would look at Arsenal, we would look at Chelsea, and we'd say those are bonus points. If you get anything from them, great. It's the other games you want to focus on. But they're the ones we need to be looking at, especially like Chelsea, who are in and around us as well. If we can finish strong in there, then it could be big for us. But yeah, probably. Yeah. You're looking you're hoping for 7. You're hoping for at least at the very least 7 to keep that dream alive. And even then, I'm not sure that'll be enough to do that, to be honest.
So that is 2 wins and 2 draws. So you're expecting at least 1 loss from those games?
Definitely, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be surprised if you beat Chelsea and Arsenal at home and then lost to Newcastle.
I mean, look, you've heard the West Ham way. That is probably the West Ham way.
The West Ham way. The West Ham way. So 8 points. Okay. After that Chelsea game, I'll be making a call to you and see how many you'll get correct from that. If you're gonna get it spot on. So Jesse Lingard, how much of a revival has he been for you guys? Remember him at United? I used to dislike him because he used to score every single time and do those stupid dances against us. But since he joined West Ham, I've actually started to like him a bit. He's scoring goals. He's doing good since that Aston Villa away game. He's been doing very, very great. Is he a guy you ever expected to be good at West Ham?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. To be fair, I've always liked Jesse Lingard. I've always thought he had something about him. I felt like he was both overrated and underrated because of the big, huge, insane season he had at Manchester United, where everything went right for him. And so then some people went, "Oh my God, Jesse Lingard's incredible. He's going to be incredible forever." And then some people were like, "Jesse Lingard is so bad. He's never going to match this season ever again." Blah blah blah. I always thought he's a good player. I never thought he was Manchester United level. I never thought he was Champions League level. But I was like, I think he's a good player. So when he signed, I was excited because I thought actually he's probably a good player for our level, and he's better than I thought he was. Like Jesse Lingard. We have players who are probably as technically gifted as him. We have players who are probably as fast as he is or as good at shooting he is or good as passing. Yeah. But everything looks like it comes so easy to him. Like there's been times where we've been defending. Spurs was a good example, actually. It was the Spurs. Yeah. I think it was the Spurs game where we were defending in our box. Everyone's bag. It was very David Moyes. Every single person was in the box, and it came to him, and he just nutmegged the player and ran the entire length of the pitch up the bridge, like breaking the counter, getting all the way up to the other end of the pitch. But it just came so easy to him. He did it as if it was nothing. Hit the passes, the through balls he makes, which are land perfectly at people's feet. They don't have to break their stride. He does it like it's nothing. He's so good. If we don't keep Jesse Lingard, it will be a huge problem for us next season because although we were doing well beforehand, he's just a class. He really is genuinely a class above for us.
Would you splash 30 million for him at the end of the season?
Probably not. Like I don't. Our problem is we're not going to have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money. We're under our current ownership. We're never going to have a lot of money. But given the situation in the world, we're never going to have a lot of money in this summer. So for me, if it ends up being anything more than £20 million, I probably wouldn't be able to justify it because we have some other positions we need to fill, and at the same time, we do have a lot of attacking midfielders. But he genuinely is. He's significantly better than a lot of our players, if not most of them.
You're very right. He's done very, very well. But one thing, I'm not sure you should take any other penalties from now on. I'm not convinced. The thing with you guys, I remember you telling me about Antonio. I remember you told me, yes, I think he scored a hat-trick against Norwich at the end of last season, but that was Norwich. I don't think he's going to have that good of a season. He's been brilliant. He's had injuries, but the games he's played, he's been very, very good. But I'm always worried about him. And every time he has the ball, I'm always worried about his hamstrings. I'm always like, is he going to? That's why as an FPL manager, I can't even put him in my team because I know how many games will he play. So definitely you guys need a striker.
Exactly. Yeah, striker, we're potentially looking at left back. We're potentially looking at a centre midfielder. There's a couple of different places we need, but you're right. I mean, Antonio, as good as he has become as a striker, and I will say that like I was unnecessarily harsh to him before. I feel like You're right. His hamstrings. He has cheese strings for hamstrings. He has nothing there.
Yeah.
They will fall apart and disintegrate every second. And every game he plays, every second he's on the pitch, everyone is terrified he's going to get injured. And it should be said, he is literally our only choice. So at the moment, the last 3-4 games, he's actually been out of form. He's not been looking the same he was before, which is fine. Every player goes through periods like that, and we hope it is just a period like that and he comes out the other side. But we can't even rest him and put someone else in his place because we literally do not have another striker. The only other one we have is an 18-year-old from the youth academy who played 10-20 minutes against Manchester United in the FA Cup, and then had such a poor performance that we've never seen him since, and I suspect we'll never see him again. So it's a massive issue, and we're going to have to spend in the summer in that position. Which is difficult.
Which team did Kufal come from?
Slavia Prague.
He's been very. Is that where Sushek came from as well? Same country?
Yeah, same club.
Same club. Okay, so this season, Kufal has been very good. He's also on some set pieces. He's been having assists here and there. I have him in my FPL team. I know a lot about that. Cresswell has been brilliant, obviously, with free kicks and corners, assists every now and then. Ogbonna, every time a corner comes in, goal. Dawson these days, every time a corner comes in, goal. Sushek, I always say, since day one, I was like, nah, Sushek can't keep scoring like last season. He scores one, and then he scores another, and then he goes to Crystal Palace. I think he scores a double. I'm like, no, he can't keep scoring. And he always just keeps scoring, getting himself in. It reminds me of Ramsey, the way he gets himself into the box as a midfielder. Lingard coming in for you guys, helping you out. Antonio scoring the goals here and there. Bowen has been great. So who has been your best player so far this season, personally?
Probably for me, Thomas Souček. I'll say this very quickly because I don't know if you know this, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, last time I was very critical of the board, and I still 1,000% would be. I think they're a mess, and I can't support them in any way, shape, or form. Vladimir Coufal. So we only have one scout at the club currently. We only have one scout at the club. Coufal came because we needed a right back, and Thomas Souček went, should probably look at Coufal. He's quite good. And then we just went and bought him. So that's how good Thomas Souček has been. Not only is he our top goal scorer, not only is he probably, I would argue, the most important player on the pitch, but he's also our best scout. Going out there, he's like, get this geezer. He's decent. He comes in. He's a grand old time. I mean, Souček, like you say, I was with him and Bowen, who both did really well last season. After coming in January, I was like, right, we'll see how they do this year. Because you know what it's like. You come in for 6 months, you're firing, you're fit, and then next season is always the sophomore album. It's always difficult, and he's just so good. He has notable deficiencies in his game. For example, he's not a great passer. So whenever he got linked to Barcelona like 2 weeks ago, which was insanity anyway. But B, he's not a good enough passer or anything like that. He's not a bad part. He's not a good passer, but. He will never stop running. He will never stop trying. There's been times this season, who was it? I can't remember who it was against. It might have been Spurs again, where he got smashed in the face and he literally like proper smashed, like he was bleeding from the nose and everything, got straight back up to try and stop the block, to try and stop the shot. And then once the ball had gone out of play, then went, oh my God, and went down on the pitch because he just has that never say die attitude. He is everything anyone could ever want from a defensive midfielder, and he's basically Marouane Fellaini in the box. Dude gets in there, he's scoring headers all the time, but he's also got that, like you say, that Ramsey anticipation where he's not just headers, he'll rock up with shots from his foot as well because he will just find the right positions somehow. I don't know how he does it. I love him. He's been our best player this season.
That's not the only time he's been in the headlines. The bloody face, the Mike Dean incident, and then Mike Dean officiated you guys again recently. And in that game, I was like, he didn't want to book Souček. I think he fouled people like 4 or 5 times, but Mike Dean didn't really want to give him a yellow card because of what he did last time, which was definitely not a red card. But he's a very good player. That Slavia Prague is the same team that eliminated Leicester from Europa League this season. So they pretty much have some really good players there still. So maybe get a few players from there. Souček, can he help Arsenal out? We'll find out this weekend if he can get us a couple of players from there as well. So this weekend, Charlie, it's Arsenal against West Ham, or West Ham against Arsenal. Last season, did we win? No, we didn't. Yeah, we won at your place 3-1. I think that was our first win after a long period of time losing to losing so many games under Emre, and then we think we had Ljungberg. That was Ljungberg's first win against West Ham away from home. The previous season, I think you beat us 1-0 with dry scoring. I think the previous season, there's a time we won 5 goals with Sanchez being there. But the games I usually used to hate were the ones at Upton Park. Really, really tough game. Really, really tough games there. But West Ham, Arsenal, what have you made of Arsenal so far this season, just shortly?
It's so up and down. So I can never really figure out what's going to happen. I mean, yeah. I still think Arteta's the right guy. I know there was some conversations a couple of months ago about whether or not he was. For me, I still think he is the right guy because he's learning his trade. He's someone you can invest in and build around as a young manager with a lot of promise. I think he's the right guy to do it. But I think with that will come those days where it's up and down. Like our first game when we played each other, it was. I'm still shocked we didn't get anything out of that game. But I'm also shocked that MICHAIL Arteta, for example, it was going so poorly in the first half and then didn't make any subs at half time. And I was like, there's stuff like that where I'm still a bit shocked. But I do think he's the right guy, and I think you've got the beginnings of a really good team. It's going to take another summer or two to where you can buy a couple of more finishing touches like Thomas Partey, where you can go, all right, we know this is going to happen. We know this is going to happen. Once you have that, all of a sudden you're going to be from where you are now to flying high, because some of those, and you'll have also some of those youth players come good after that as well. It's an exciting time down the line for Arsenal, but you're currently in the mire of struggling with inconsistencies.
Yeah, these are the two teams that you can actually compare from the start of the season, because you guys were expecting West Ham to get relegated. Since we are doing the FA Cup and Community Shield, we're expecting guaranteed top 4, but things have really switched. Like, you guys have been up there, we've been struggling down there literally the entire season until recently. You guys have been somehow consistent. You lose one game, you win, and then you win a couple here and there, you win whether it's home or away. But for us, like, we lose like 7 games in a row. I think actually for us, we are more consistent than you. We lose 7 games in a row, and then we win 5 in a row, and then we lose another 3 in a row. But yeah, I prefer West Ham's form of winning, losing, winning, instead of just losing every single game. So we've been up and down. But right now we've picked up our form. We have Europa League. Here's a start for you. Maybe it could help you. The 8 Europa League games we've played this season, the next Premier League fixture after that, we've lost 6 of them. So we never do well after playing Europa League match. We've only won twice, and we've only won once. The recent one was against Burnley where we drew, and I think the one we just beat, was it Tottenham? Yeah, it was after Europa League game. That was our first win this season after Europa League match, so you can just imagine. So that could be a good thing for you guys. Maybe you have a full week's rest and we don't have a full week's rest. Do you take that into consideration?
Yeah, it's useful. It's very useful, and it just means that we have, again, with our striking situation, and we've got 1 or 2 notable injuries, like Pablo Fornals is out. Any extra time we have to get those people back fit and firing is good. I think if you have a situation where you have 2 or 3 weeks break and the other team have played recently, then I think that's maybe a negative. There's maybe a sense of form that comes into it and traction that you don't have anymore. But a week compared to you who have 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it will be. It's a big benefit for us.
So we beat you guys 2-1, but as you said, I think you hit the bar. I think Antonio could have had a hat-trick in that game. We got our winner like in the 90th minute. A lot has changed since then, as I said. Partey was not an Arsenal player. Lingard was not a West Ham player. And Nketiah is not even in the first team anymore. Hala is not at West Ham anymore. So a lot has changed from that lineup. So what would be a starting lineup for the game?
I suspect it will stick with 5 at the back. I think it will end up being Fabianski in goal. From left to right, we'll start Ben Johnson, who's our youth right back, at left back, at left wing back, because we don't have Masuaku, who's been injured, and that's where he's been starting. The defense will be Cresswell, Dawson, and Diop, who've been doing really well, and without Ogbonna, who I feel a bit sorry for, because he was on course to be one of our player of the seasons and then got injured. But yeah, that'll be the back 3 with Kufal at right back. It'll be midfield 2 of Rice and Souček, which is as consistent as you're going to find. And then the front line is a bit more difficult to predict, but I suspect it will be from left to right again, probably Jesse Lingard, Michail Antonio, Jared Bowen. Pablo Fornals is injured, and Ben Rama can't start a game to save his life. So I suspect it will be that.
That was the other one who wasn't there as well. So looking at your lineup that day, you had Masuaku was not there. You had Fornals in the starting lineup. You had Ogbonna. You had Bowen. You had whatever happened to Fredericks.
Do you know what? He had a really good
play?
season, but he just got injured again, and so he's gone again. But I feel sorry for him because it was the one time people were like, "Oh, Fredericks might be able to play for West Ham United," because before everyone disliked him, but injured now, so it don't matter.
So you guys have like in that lineup, you have like 5 players who won't play this time round. For us, we had the likes of Kolasinac in that team. We had the likes of Holding. We had the likes of El Neni Ketia, who probably won't play in this game as well. So a lot has changed. But for the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette, Antonio, the scars, the likes of Rice, who takes penalties sometimes, they're all going to be in the match. So what is your prediction for the game and who will score the goals?
I haven't the foggiest. I do not know. From after the last time and after the last couple of games, I honestly can't think about it. My gut says it will be a draw. My gut says it'd be a draw. I'll put my neck out and say 2-2 and go wild with it. I think if the goals are going to come from us, it will come from Souček and Dawson probably. Both probably from corners. And then I don't know if you guys. I mean, it depends if Aubameyang's actually playing a game or not. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I can't. I think you will, but I can't. I just can't. Honestly, I'm struggled with this. I was thinking about it last night. Obviously, knowing I was coming on, and I was like, "What? I don't even know. I can't." Usually, I'm pretty confident with my predictions, but this one is 5 out of 10 confidence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go for goals. I'm going to go for a 3-2 win, but I actually agree with you. I can see you guys scoring from a corner. Nearly 90% chance you're going to score from a corner. And it's probably going to be Souček. I'm going to go with that. In fact, I'm going to go with Antonio to score from a corner, somewhere flicking or something, a tapping. And then as well as Lingard. He always scores against us. I can feel him scoring again, Lingard and Antonio. And then for us, probably Lacazette, Aubameyang, and maybe a Pepe or something like he did last season. So which one are you usually afraid? Who are you more afraid of? Is it Pepe or Saka against Cresswell on that side? Because Saka is out of this game. Pepe will probably start.
I mean, realistically, given form, it should be Saka. But mate, Pepe destroys us every time we face him. Pepe is one of those guys. I don't know what the general Arsenal fan opinion is of Pepe, but he seems relatively inconsistent. But when it comes to West Ham United, he's as consistent as you're going to find a footballer. He destroys us every single time. Just get him and get him running at Cresswell. Cresswell has nightmares about him anyway. We faced him twice, I think, and both times Cresswell has had the biggest mare possible against him. I don't think Cresswell's excited for it. I'm not excited for it. I suspect I'll see you in the live chat and you'll be like, Pepe's doing Cresswell dirty here. And I'll be like, yep, it almost certainly is going to happen.
Yeah. So that's not the only thing, by the way. I'm sure you do hear about Arsenal fans complaining about referee agenda every single time.
Yeah.
So that is one of the incidents that is always brought up in the compilations of the pictures and stuff. Cresswell almost breaking Pepe's leg and not getting booked for it or getting sent off for it. Yeah, so that was at your stadium last season. I think last season, he had a very, very poor game. Almost broke Pepe's leg, but I think I don't mind the general thoughts about Pepe. At the start of the season, I usually used to think he's just on the same level with Willian. They're not performing, both of them. I was like, I don't care who starts between them. People are like, Pepe, Willian is terrible. I was like, no, Pepe is as well. But recently, he's really picked it up since I think Leicester game he's played really well. Tottenham game he played really well in the second half. So I don't mind who starts. So those are my goal scorers and my prediction. Final question: which position will West Ham finish and which position will Arsenal finish?
Again, I think it depends a lot on the results of the next 5 games, but realistically, I think we'll probably finish 7th. I just think our lack of attacking output is probably going to be our downfall. But 7th, and I think we should be probably happy with that. You guys, I think that's a great question. My gut says you'll finish higher than you are now. Screw it. Let's go 7th and 8th. Why not? Let's go spicy about it. 7th and 8th, I think, is probably a fair shout. I think you'll get a bit higher and we'll drop a bit lower, but yeah. So you're saying Tottenham will finish above you? whatever, man. Who get like they're relevant. They're relevant.
I don't think they will. I think that the teams that are going to fall off. But yeah, I think West Ham will. Yeah, I think you can probably get 7th, and that will be good enough for Europa League, depending if City win the FA Cup. I think you'll get it if City win the FA Cup or Chelsea win the FA Cup. So that will be good enough. So thank you very much, Charlie, for coming on. Where can they follow you?
You can follow me at ATopLad on Twitter, or you can follow Hamish_chat, Hams_chat on Twitter and on YouTube, Hamish_chat. Come find us. Come visit the watch along. We get Glenn, we get other fans from other clubs joining the chat. We're all completely welcome. The live chat is welcome. There's 1 or 2 idiots, but we mock them as much as you can, so don't worry about it. You come get involved.
Yeah, thank you very much. It does probably one of the best watch-alongs on YouTube in terms of being by himself. I really love it. So thank you for watching. Let's hope we win this game. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys.